Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to continue our playthrough of Isofarian Guard. We're going to try to get our two brave heroes or guards or whatever you want to call them down to their point of interest 102. It's going to be our story moment for Fort Istra. In the last video, I did make a few mistakes that I want to mention before we continue forward. First off, at the end, I did say that we're moving into Chapter 2. That is incorrect. It's not until you get down to Fort Istra, I believe, that Chapter 2 is going to begin. So we actually do have to make a trek down through this, I guess you could say, scary land to see if we can make it there. There are also a few other things that were made that were in error, and please check the pinned comment of the last video. That should show you most of the errors that were done. One of them is I do actually get to heal an extra hit point because I drew a chip out of my bag and I decided to make myself take a damage instead of healing myself one damage. So that's fantastic. When we drew this out, I was supposed to heal myself. Instead, I gave myself a damage. A few of the other errors I will explain as we're playing through the game because it's better to demonstrate them than just to talk about them. In our last playthrough, according to Arik, a member of our community, he says that, so in one session, I became magical. I left my squad. I dispatched a brigand, got to maul a bear. I took its hide. I showed off in front of the king and got myself exiled. Then I got a friend to abandon his post, got more guards exiled, and was almost assassinated. Now I'm homeless, jobless, and I am almost broke. And now a mysterious traveler is traveling with us and is telling us we're about to save the world. So in essence, that was pretty much our last chapter. Thank you for that great recap arc. We are going to now see what continues in our great adventure. If you're excited to see if Grigory and Alec can make it over to Camp Istra, or Fort Istra I should say, then I need you to meet me at the table. Before we start on our trek, I do want to explain that we now have a card called Combine for Alec, which is going to be really cool. The way it works is that I can trigger Empower on effect by using the shield chip and a action cube. And when I do that, our potions become better. For example, this one would be able to add a chip to both bags, or our golden potion would be allow you gain one or an ally gains one. So there's different things that these potions do depending on if they're empowered. Of course, just like all of Grigory's things, once this is used, we are going to flip this card. It does have a different trigger down here that if if two potion cards are activated, flip one non-active card. So if, for example, say I activated this card and I activated this card in the same turn, if I then activate Combine, I could take this card and I can flip it over, and then it becomes a totally different potion. It's kind of like combining the two potions into one. I think this is a really cool system. Of course, I do not know what a lot of those potions do, and I think it'd be kind of cool to experience them on our own. That's what his Combine power does, and of course, when it does flip, it will flip to a blade attack. So he does actually get a better attack here. If one other P or S is active, so I do have to actually activate something else. So I have to activate this card, for example. Then I can attack an enemy for +2. Remember, he only has 1 or 2 attacks. So it would actually be a 4 attack, which is really going to help out. And if both are active, if I have a primary and a secondary active, I can activate an attack with I can do it for all enemies at +2. Now, of course, in order to get these up to an S, I have to try to flip these over. So it's going to take some time to get these to to be able to really take advantage of this, to be able to attack a lot of enemies. But in the long run, it might pay off. We'll have to see. The other thing in the last video I said is I had 10 Lux Essence, and so I should level somebody up, but I said I was going to have my Patreons do that, and I've just been so excited to get back to this game. I haven't had a chance to have them do this before I decided to make this recording, so I am still going to have my Patreons decide what we're going to do to level up, but we're going to do this in the next video after we're done with this one. Once we get to Fort Istra and get to Chapter 2, it's going to be my Patreon's job to figure out what we do with this Luck Essence. Now, of course, I am playing with fire, because one of the things is if you die during your adventure, both your characters die, I believe you lose your luck essence and your sil, so we don't want to have any of that happen. So we're going to do our very best to try to stay alive. So it's time to continue on this lowly old road. We're going to head down to 68, and we'll draw a chip from our bag here and see what happens to our brave adventurers here. We're going to fight something, or are we going to deal with an ability here? We have found a compass, so this is going to be pretty sweet. We're going to put a cube next to that card. And now we have to make a choice. We can either decide to take on a battle in that location that we're in, which is right over here. We're at number 68. We can decide on one of those, or we can continue on without anything happen, or we can spend the 3 cubes that we have on our action cards or event cards over here and do the event. I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try an event because we've never tried one, and this is going to be amazing. So we have to discard the 3 cubes. So in order to do another one of these, we have to get 3 more of these. But we're going to read the card, and we're going to choose a path. And this is pretty much how I think how most of these work. They're probably going to be choosing path cards. It says you encounter a man standing in a puddle, though it is barely an inch deep. He flails about as if he were drowning. Don't just stand there, you fools! He shouts, "Save me!" Okay, I come from the land of 10,000 lakes, so I don't think this is possible. Humor him and attempt a rescue, or explain to the man that he is at no risk of drowning. Well, I don't think he can drown. He's in a pool of water. We're going to choose number 2. Let's see what it says here. Nope, we go to option 2. As you speak with him, the man gradually comes to his senses. "I don't know what came over me," he admits. "It was like a walking dream. There are strange days for Isofar. Dazed, he returns to his village. We obtain 10 Lux Essence." Oh my gosh, that's like a whole level. That's amazing. That was a fantastic card. All right, we're going to gain 10 Lux Essence. We're at 20 now. Now I definitely don't want to die. All right, we're at 20 Lux Essence. That's fantastic, and he needs to learn how to swim. We're then going to return our chip back to the bag. Those chips always get returned to the bag unless something tells us not to. And at this point, we're going to move to 69, which is going to be into Ribia, and we're going to get out the little mini-map for that. Here's the town of Ribia. We're coming in on the Salt Lake Gate. There are many different places we can go, and unlike the Fort Straza, this place doesn't mind that we're there, so we can go to multiple places here. We can go to the blacksmith, the trade winds, the town hall. We can go to the Sears Temple, the fish market, warehouse district, Stenla Bridge, Fort Stena, the docks. There's a harbor. There's the Narrows. There's all these different places to go to. Now, a lot of these are just named places that can be used in a quest somewhere down the line, but some of the ones that you're going to most likely want to visit would be the fish market, the blacksmith, the trade winds, because they have these little flags here that they're going to be part of the actual town book that you're going to be able to locate. So let me show you that really quick. Here's the town of Ribia. It is a fish market. As you can see, lots of fish. There's even some swords when we can pick up something. We'll see. One of the places we could go is the blacksmith, and here's the blacksmith shop for, I believe it's actually pronounced Riba or Reba. I'm terrible at names. I apologize. So just bear with my horribleness. We could maybe get a reinforced tunic, but notice a lot of these are going to take materials that we don't have yet. So there's not much we can craft yet, but this could be something we might want to go for. We do have the 15 gold, and all we need is some rough leather, 4 metal fragments, 2 ore, and we do have our guard's tunic already on both of our characters, which is pretty good. And it does say that anybody can wear this, so it would be something we might want to pick up. Another one we could maybe eventually start going towards is Adventurer's Garb. And every town is going to have a different thing in their blacksmith. Now, continuing on, we could go to the Trade Winds, which is that inn. And if we go there, it's going to cost us 20 sil, which would be all of our gold, and we get to stay at the inn. One of the good things about that is we're able to heal ourselves back to 20 health. And we get to create a save point where if you die, you get to come back to that particular spot, which is indicated by that chip right there. We then have that chip on the board somewhere showing us where our save point is. So if we do not make it, we'd come back to there. Other things you can do is, as you can see, you can pick up bounties inside of the inn as well. For example, we could pick up this bounty for campaign 1. They're level 2 star creatures. I don't think we can take that on. We barely got through 1 assassin at level 2, let alone 2 dudes at level 2. I don't think we're able to take those on. But we could come back at any time to this town and pick up these side quests, or these, I should say, bounty quests, and then go to 103 to take these on. And if we do, we're going to get rewards. Like we get a whole another speaking stone. So we'd have 2 speaking stones that we could be using. Of course, you have to have the ability to place them on your particular weapons and armor. And both of our characters do have 2 places they can put speaking stones. So somewhere down the line, we might want to do that so we have abilities to do even more things with those speaking stones. The last place we could go would be the fishmonger area here, the fish market, which is going to give us things we can buy. This might be something we do because we can do this. I might want to pick up another healing potion for 5 gold because I only have one, and having another one might be a good idea because that was a life saver for sure. It would cost me 5. I could buy this fish for 10, which is going to heal me 7, which might not be a bad thing either. Or we could get some of these we could get like a foxtail carp or a emerald koi, which all do different things that you can, as you can see in the book here. But I think what we are going to do is the cheapest one here is a healing potion. We don't have a lot of gold. I'm going to spend 15. We are going to travel to this fishmonger area here, and our fish market, I should say. We're going to spend our 5 gold to get one more healing potion so that I can put that with Grigory because he had to use his. And so we're down to 15 sil. We'll place our character marker right there on the fish market, and we'll gain our healing potion and put it into our active slot. Remember, anything in our satchel here, if we decided to put this here, we wouldn't have access to it when we're in narrative events or if we're in any kind of combat. So it's always best to have at least one item ready to go. At this point, I don't think there's anything left for us to do in this particular town, so I'm going to go down to 81, the river gates. And that's going to pop us out right there. So we'll continue our travels. Moving to 87, we'll take our bag again, give it a good old shake here, and pull a chip out. Let's see what we have. We have found ourselves another compass chip. That's fantastic. At this point, we'll place down a purple cube on this card here. And I do want you to know that this is a new set of cards. When we were originally placing cubes, we were placing them on the yellow cards, but once you get to 77 through I think 109 or something, along with a few other ones here and there that are different, you're going to place these down on different decks. So 78 to 108 is the forest regions, which is what these are. So that's why I've placed them down. You can tell by the different colors down here, red, yellow, and the top one is blue. So that's how we're going to do that. Now I could choose to fight something here, or we could continue on. We are on node 87, which means we can either fight 1 raider, 2 raiders, or a stone hunter. I think we're going to take on just 1 raider. I think I want to fight something. This is part of the game. And that way we can get more lux, more sil. Might even be able to get maybe a consumable, or we can maybe get more pelts, or maybe some fragments or something. We need to get some more materials. Let's take on one of these raiders, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm probably going to butcher the name. So let's take on a raider. We'll set up our raiders board. Here is our raider. He is right here. And then we have his deck of cards. We'll give him a good old truffle shuffle here and put them down on the board right there. We'll take 3 cubes. He has 8 health. I think we can hopefully take him down pretty quick. Oh, he's got 2 defense and 2 attack though. Okay, so that's gonna be a little bit different. Now the good news is he is not gonna surprise us, so we get to go first. Before we do, I want to take a look at Alex's new ability here called Combine. The way this card works, it does a lot of cool things. The first thing is you can activate this card to trigger Empower, and you can trigger the Empower effect on 1 card, which means, for example, we could use the Empower effect on this card to allow him to draw 3 chips from his bag. Interestingly enough, from how I understand it, empowering the elixir here doesn't mean you have to put the shield and use the action cube on it. It's just meaning you're using the bottom part. You could still, I believe, use the top part by using the action cube and the actual chip. The other thing this can do is if 2 potion cards are active, so for example, we activate this one and this one, then we could flip 1 non-active card if we wish to. So we could flip this card over, which is kind of cool because it's like combining these 2 into this, hence the word combine, which makes this a more powerful card, and it stays on that side from how I understand it, because it doesn't have a flip mechanic unless you do this again. You can then you could flip it back over if you wanted to, of course, having to use the 2 other potions if you want to. Of course, once you use combine, you do have the symbol up here, which is going to flip the card itself, which turns it into an attack card, which then used again will flip back over to the combine card. I hope all that made sense. Let's go see what we can do to this raider. Let's see what we can do to the raider. And we're actually going to start with Alec. So we're going to take his chips, give him a good old shuffle here, and we're going to draw some out and see what we're going to do with them. Now, of course, I can only draw 2 because it only has 2 action tokens, and he got a sword and a shield. One thing I do want to mention, in the last playthrough I did, I drew the purple chip out of his bag, and I said, okay, I got my 2 chips, we're good. Purple chips do not count toward the amount of chips that you draw out of the bag. Only the black chips do. So he got a sword and a shield. With my shield and my sword token here, one thing I could do is I could activate this to give myself a sword and shield to my bag, or I could empower something. I think we are. We're going to empower this one right here. It's going to add a heart chip to both bags, and just because you empower it doesn't mean you can't use the potion itself. We're going to use that again. So we're going to grab 3 heart chips because my guys are kind of hurt. We're going to keep them alive a little bit. I'm going to add 2 of these to Alex's bags, one from the empower and one from the actual activation of that potion, and I'm going to put one of these into Grigory's bag right there because of the empower. Those 2 are done. I could use this, but I think, well, let's see here. I could attack an enemy for 1, and that would have 1 defense. I don't see why not. Defense is always good. So we're going to activate this as well. It would have been nice to maybe lower his defense a little bit before I did that, but being able to attack him for 3 means I'm going to do 1 point of damage. 1, of course, is better than nothing. He is going down to 7. I also forgot to put out the action cubes for this guy. He starts with 2 action cubes. We'll put those right there. Now it's Grigory's turn. He's got 2 action points. We'll see what he draws out here. He draws a sword and he draws a health chip, so he gets to heal 1, which I failed last time. I actually wounded him last time. And a shield. Okay, so he has a sword and a shield. First, we're going to move his health up to 19. And then we're going to put this chip here for now. And I have to decide what I want to do with these. I could do feint if I want to, which is going to lower the enemy's damage or defense by 1, bringing him to only 1 defense. Activating this for 4, doing 3 points of damage. That could be one option. I think the better option will be to do those 2 together. And then I can have to decide which one I want to chain. I could either chain the shields or I could chain the swords. I think we're going to chain the shields together, meaning I'm going to grab 2 shield tokens for him, 1 for that card and 1 for the chain, and then I'm going to grab the sword. Whoop, that's not a sword. We're going to grab a sword for this one here. We're going to put all of these into Grigory's bag, and that is going to be the end of his turn. The enemy now gets to activate. We'll draw his card and see what he does. He is going to, what's this? He is going to choose target self. If another raider has 0 health, death, honor. Use 1 action to heal 5. There is a not if another raider has 0. There is no other raider with 0. He's going to reform. He's going to use one of his actions to draw a card. So he's going to use one of his action cubes to do that. Let's draw his next card. This one says target self. It's the same thing. He's going to use 1 action cube to draw a card. That's absolutely hilarious. And then he's going to do this. Choose self. Surprise assault. Oh, it's going to cost 0 action cubes. I was so hoping he'd find one that does do an action cube and he would be done. Oh, instead, he is going to gain an action cube. Then he's going to be able to attack me with, was it +1, and add and draw a card end turn. And his target is self. So he's going to, he's going to gain this. He's not going to attack. He's also going to gain a +1 to his attack. Oh no, this is going to be pretty bad. So he's going to gain that chip from how I understand how that's going to work. Then I have to draw a card. Wow, these guys like to draw cards. Let's see here, please. We need 2. Highest defense. The highest defense is going to be, well, it's actually a tie right now because I do actually have 2 defense on Alec as well. But remember, I do have to put the aggro token on somebody, which I forgot to do. And the aggro token is going to go on to Grigory because he's the last one to have activated. So he's going to attack the target, discard all defense chips from the target's cards. All right. Then he's going to shield barrage. Oh, look at this. He's going to take 2 action cubes. He's not going to do it. He's going to end turn. Ha ha. Nothing for you. One thing I forgot to do is we need to put those blue cubes on our defense slots here. That is something you have to do. And a really good thing I was told by the member of our community, Nighthawk, is you make sure you don't just put up, like say I get +3 to my defense. I shouldn't just put it to 5. I should put a cube in each slot because there's some things that could affect how many cubes you have or being removing cubes from these and having to move these up and down. So it's better just to put the cubes out there to remember what your defense values are. The card, though, did tell me to remove all the defense chips from my player board, and I believe that's going to play into an effect because while it's active, I'm going to get +1 defense. So at this point, I would be removing that blue cube because it's no longer active because I had to discard the chip. I believe that's how that works. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments below. But without the chip there, I don't think this card is no longer active. Of course, the stuff that already happens, that still stays there, but I don't have the +1 defense anymore. So then if he would have came in with that attack, it would have been pretty brutal. But lucky for us, he didn't have the action points to be able to do it. He only had 1 at the time. He now has 3 action cubes, which is awesome. Now at this point, for both of our heroes, we will put our chips that we've used into the discard slot, and we're going to return this one to the supply. I don't have access to that one. This cube is going to go into the cooldown position, and we're going to remove our blue cube on our defense from Alec because he no longer has the ability to do that because this is no longer active. We're going to use Alec first again, so we're going to take his bag, which has a lot less chips than Gregory's does. We're going to draw 2 chips out of there. We have drawn a health chip. That's fantastic. We'll put that there. Then we'll draw a purple chip. That's awesome. And I think the other 2 chips are both black. And so it's, oh, we got a green chip again. Another health chip. Forgot about that one. And then we have a sword chip. So I'm out of chips because the other 2 are here, but that's okay. I was able to grab these 2. Now, since my bag is empty, I don't get to continue drawing. I could have, for 1 health point, put these 2 back in the bag and started from the beginning like that, but that's okay. We've got some chips. I think we're doing fine. First thing, we're going to use our 2 health chips to heal him all the way back up to 20. That'll be awesome. Now, before we use our chips, one thing I have to do is I do have to flip this card, because remember we did use the ability last time, so I do have to flip that. I forgot to do that. On top of that, I do have to flip his cards as well. I forgot to flip the critical, or the one, that one, and guard. So now it's critical strike and take cover. I do have to flip those cards. Now, these don't flip unless you use that combine ability. After you use 2 different potions, then you could flip one of those cards. But so that's how that works, but it's going to be a little bit different. Now, I could use this, and it says if one other primary or secondary is active, I can attack an enemy with +2 attack. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to activate it with this token, but to do that, I'm first going to activate that card there to give myself another green action cube. We're going to put this up on his board. He now has 3 action cubes, but he had to use 1 here. Then he's going to use another one to activate this. Now, I don't have any other chips, otherwise I could activate another one because I gained another action cube, but that's okay. We'll put this back up here. I don't get to empower because the empower isn't there. And so that is all we're going to do. I'm going to attack this one though, because if one other, not this one, primary or secondary is activated, I can attack an enemy for +2. Now, of course, if I have used both a primary and a secondary on up here, I could attack everything for +2, but that's not going to happen. So he's going to do a total of 4 points of damage to this guy. The guy does have 2 defense, so he's only going to take 2. He's down to 5. Gregory, our man, let's see what you can do. We need to draw some good chips, and maybe we can finish this guy off in this turn. We got a green shield chip. We've also got ourselves a black shield chip. Now remember, I get to draw 2. Another shield chip. I got lots of shields. And wow, look at all these chips coming out of my bag. All right, we got, oh my gosh, we got tons of stuff we can do. Now the problem is, of course, I only have 2 action cubes to use all these chips on. We'll have to see what we can do. I think we got this guy. I'm going to use 1 action cube right here to give myself +2 defense and gain a green cube. I think it's going to be a mute point. I'll put the green cube up there. I'm then going to use feint, which is going to give him a negative to his defense, which is going to help me quite a bit. He's going to get -1 defense chip over on his board. On top of that, I am chaining it, so I'm able to attack for 3 points of damage. Then I'm going to attack him for 3 points of damage with just my chip, and then we're going to activate this for 4. So I think this guy is going down. Now, sadly, I've kind of run out of action cubes, so I couldn't do anything else because this one takes 2 to do, and I only have 1 left. This guy is in a world of hurt. He is going to first take the damage from my feint card, which is 3. Now, of course, he has -1 defense, so he only has 1, so he's going to take 2, 1, 2. Then my normal attack, 1, 2, and then my cross slash, which is 4, which is a billion. He is super dead. Let's see what kind of our rewards are. We got ourselves, oh, look at that. We got a wolf pelt, and we also got 2 lucks. We're going to give that to Alec. He has now 1 wolf pelt, as noted by that 1 right there. I'm going to discard any of these extra action cubes we have. I'm going to return all of the green chips to the bag, or to the supply, I'm sorry. And then we're going to reset our characters to continue our adventures. Let's continue our adventure after that wonderful fight that actually that fight was fantastic. It actually gave us health and stuff. I'm going to go to 93. We're going to reach into our bag here, see what we pull out of this one right here. We got ourselves a double skull. Uh-oh, I think things might be getting a little rough here. Hopefully whatever we can kill will be enough to be able to rest into this location if we need to at some point. All right, 93 is going to be our enemy. 93 is where we are, so we're going to fight, I guess, what's called a clayhorn. I have no idea what that is. Hopefully it's not going to be too dangerous. A 1-star clayhorn is going to be actually a little bit tougher than our last guy. Maybe. We don't know what it actually does. It does get 2 action cubes, and it starts with 12 health, which is a lot more than the other guy had. So we'll put down a 10 and a 2 there. He also starts out with 2 defense, and he starts out with 2 attack as well. Then we're going to grab his AI deck. Now, he did not surprise us, thank goodness. I don't know how that thing could surprise us. It's a giant, huge thing running through the forest or even through the land. We'd probably be able to see it. It's almost like a giant, like clay-looking or a rock-looking buffalo or something. All right, we get to go first. That's awesome. Our guards have reset all their abilities back to their primaries, and we are going to start with Alec just because I always start with him. I like him to potentially not have the aggro token. He has drawn himself a sword chip, and he's also drawn himself a shield chip. So again, we've got a sword and shield chip. We might start with the same way we did last time. I am going to activate this and this to put health chips into all of our bags. We're going to grab a total of 3 health chips, put 2 into Alec's bag. Well, Alex already got 20 health. I don't think it's really going to matter. Okay, here's what I think we're going to do. I could attack him. I only attack for 2 of those. That's not going to do anything. Do I really want to empower right now? Maybe we'll do this instead. We'll add some chips to the bag, and we'll do this, which is going to add 1 to Alex's bag. That's not going to help me at all. You know what? I could gain a chip. This is actually a pretty horrible draw. Now I look at it. I could empower something. Okay, I got a plan. We're going to empower with that, and then I guess I give 1 chip to Alex's bag, but now I kind of want him to be the person that gets hit. Oh, well. Maybe we'll just empower this and add 1 to this, or gain an ally gains 1 green chip. The green chip would be really good for him. I think empowering this to give an ally a green chip. We're going to give this over to Grigory, and then we are just going to put 1 of these, add 1 to Alex, or an ally's bag. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't read the ally's bag. So that is a good one. We're going to give that to Grigory because Grigory is still down 1 health. And the other health chips we're just going to get rid of. That's what we're going to do with this guy. We're going to activate both of these abilities with our 2 action cubes and call it a day. We're going to empower the potion over here to give an ally a green one. And then we're going to put a health chip into Grigory's bag. Grigory's turn. Let's see what he can do. He's going to draw out some chips. Now he has 3 chips he can draw because we gave him an extra action token. We've drawn ourselves. We got a health chip. That's awesome. I'm at 20. There's more swords. I need a shield. I need a shield really badly here. Oh, we got all swords. That's no good. I really wanted a shield. Oh boy. First thing is we're going to heal ourselves back up to 20 with our health chip, and then we'll see what we can do with our 3 swords. Sadly, I don't think I'm going to do any damage. I'm going to activate a sword, and I'm going to use my other 2 swords as shields to activate this ability, which means I will gain 1 defense. We're going to put a blue cube, so now I have 3 defense up there, and I think that's it. I'm going to chain into shields. No, I'm going to chain into swords because I just pulled a whole bunch of swords out of my bag. So I'm going to chain into swords. So I'm going to give myself a shield token from here, and then I'm going to use the chain here to give myself an extra sword. So we all have 2 swords and a shield token. We're going to put those into Grigory's bag. That'll be fantastic, and that's it for him. Here comes a full power charging Claymore. Let's see what he does. He is going to choose a target with the highest defense. That would be Grigory. He has 3. He's going to attack for 1 action cube, and he's going to attack with his impaling horn, which is going to do +2, and the attack ignores the target's defense. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, that's going to do a total of 4 damage to him, and it's going to go straight through my defense. Super glad 1, 2, 3, 4 I healed him, and on top of that I'm super glad that I gave myself +1 defense. That is the end of his turn, so that's going to be it. We're going to go to our characters now. Of course, we'll start by discarding our chips and flipping over our primary abilities to our secondary side. And we'll do that for Alec as well. We'll take his cubes, put them back up there, and we'll flip this one to its secondary side like so. I'm going to start with Grigory this time, mainly because if I can get this feint onto the guy, I might be able to do damage with both of my characters. So we're going to draw some chips. I can draw up to 3. Now this has to go back to the chip place there. Let's see what we found. We have found ourselves a shield chip. We have found ourselves a sword chip. We have found ourselves a shield chip. Now these are green, so I can keep drawing. There's a sword. Now those are 2, but I have 3 action, so I can keep on drawing here. Another sword. I don't know if I even have another black chip. Oh, I did have 1 more black chip in there. Okay, 1. Oh, I drew everything. I got nothing left in my bag. All right, let's see what we can do. Oh my gosh, you got an absolute monstrous amount of things. So one of the things we want to do is feint. I want to use a shield and a chip there for that, because then I can give the enemy a -1 defense chip, which is going to be awesome. I'm going to give that to him. Then on top of that, I think we're going to... oh, wait. I want to try to do something. Is there a way to activate this chain and attack an enemy for 0? That would be what I really want to do first. I want to hit him with that. But in order to do that, I've got to do this first, I think, because we have to use that with this cube here. Now, I do have 2 more. Oh, that costs 2 chips. 2 cubes, that's all my actions. That's no good. I can't even use, oh my gosh, just imagine if I could have done this and I have another sword. This would have been the most awesome round ever if I could have actually had the actions to do this. I could have done this, chained like all this into each other. Oh my gosh, that would have been absolutely brutal. But instead, I think we're stuck here with what we're gonna, and I can't draw any more chips with him. I think what I'm gonna do is I am gonna activate this first to do a total of 5 damage to him. Then we'll activate this, which is going to give the -1 chip, but I do get to still attack for 3. Then I can activate my normal attack with this for 3, and then I can activate this for 4. Let's see how well we do. There's still a chance I might rip this guy to pieces. I think he's still going to be alive, though. First thing I'm going to do is hit him for 5 points of damage with my critical strike. And that he's going to be able to use his 2 defense on, so it's only going to be for 3. 1, 2, 3, going down to 9 health. At this point now, we are going to activate the feint ability giving him a -1 defense chip. So he is going to be at 1 defense. I'm going to use these purple cubes. So at 1 defense, I'm going to still be able to chain that into attack for 3 for doing 2 points of damage. Then I'm going to do a straight attack for 3 doing 2 points of damage. Then I'm going to activate my cross/slash ability, which is going to do 4 points of damage. 1, 2, 3, bring him down to 2 health. Oh, so close. We almost got him. And of course, he should have all of his action cubes. I think we might have this as long as I draw well, there's only 2 chips in here, and I think they're both going to be the same. Yeah, there you go. Okay, we got a sword and his double sword. So for the double sword, I could use, first we're going to attack here. Then I'm going to use the double sword and shield to actually activate this shield. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to kind of start preparing for my next battle. This is something you should probably do. This, again, was a comment I received. I didn't even think about it. But in my last playthrough, I just like straight up smashed this guy into oblivion and didn't take advantage of anything on my player board that could help me for the future. So for example, I'm going to activate this ability here, which means I get to add a sword and a shield to my bag, or Alex's bag, or a hero's bag or an ally's bag. I'm going to add it to his bag, so he's going to get a sword and shield chip. I think that'll be kind of good because maybe I can activate more of these abilities going forward, because if I can empower that and then do some other things with some of those chips, I think they'll be really good. So we're going to do that first. Now we're going to activate this, and also we had to, now I think about it, I had to do that anyway because I had to activate if one other P or S is active, I can attack an enemy for +2. So he's going to do a full total of 4 points of damage to that creature. And if I needed to, I could have used this as well to do even more damage, but I don't think I need to. And because of that, maybe it would be better to activate this. Again, I could add a health chip to Alec or an ally's bag, and I think I'm going to add a chip to our good friend Grigory. I'm going to give a health chip to Grigory's bag. I think that's, again, our better plan because we can start getting ourselves ready for the next battle. And now I'm just going to attack him for 1, 2, 3 points of damage. And because our token is still there, he's going to take 2, 1, 2. He is actually dead. So it was really cool because now I have some extra chips in my bag I get to play with going into another battle. And the Clanehorn is super dead, and he is going to give me some rough leather and 4 lux. That's awesome. I am up to 24 lux now. And I was so excited about the wolf pelt, I forgot to get my 2 lux from my raider I killed too. So we're actually at 26 lux. We have chips and stuff all over the board. We're going to make sure to clear all of this up, and we'll be ready for our next battle if we actually have one. So remember, we have to discard all these, put all these back to our primary slots, and reset our stone-bound gems here. And I think we're going to be ready to go to our next battle. We'll put our rough leather that we got into our satchel here, our backpack thingy here, and we're ready to go into our next node. At this point, our guards are going to enter another city. We're going to go to Rozdor. Here's our city. It is built in right up against a cliff. It's actually a pretty cool looking city. I'm going to start up here in the northern gate because that is where I came in. And again, very similar to the last place, we can look at the market. We have a ability to go to the inn, or we could go to the blacksmith. We can go to any of these places at any time, and I can just move my character around these different spots. And then once we decide to leave, we're going to go out the southwest gate. Here's the town of Razdor. He looks pretty happy with himself with his wonderful little animal there. We'll start with the blacksmith. Again, I don't think there's anything we can build here. I don't have any iron ore or pine, so I can't build a new weapon. I don't have any iron or metal fragments. I do have one rough leather, but it looks like I need two. So this is where part of the game goes, where if you're interested in trying to get one of these things, you might want to try to go exploring just so you can fight. For example, we know if we fight one of those clay horns, we're going to get a rough leather. So I could go attempt to try to find their area of where they normally conjugate and try to take them out to get that rough leather. Again, looking at the rest of the stuff, I don't think I have any way to be able to get it. I could buy this. This is about the only thing I could buy because it doesn't take anything to do this. And it says, while equipped, add 1 evasion chip to the event bag. Chip acts as another compass chip if drawn. Oh, interesting. That sounds really, really cool. Especially if I'm afraid of maybe I don't have enough health to maybe get back to a city, this would come in super handy. And I can keep that equipped in my slot. I don't have anything there right now. But sadly, oh no, I didn't get any lux from killing anything on the way here, so I only have 15, so now I think about it, I can't even buy it. Oh, darn it, I shouldn't have bought the health potion. But I was so worried about taking so much damage. Oh, we might want to come back here and pick this up because that sounds super, super awesome. All right, let's continue. Here's our inn. I can't really do anything at the inn. Again, I only have 15. Oh my gosh, look at these. At campaign 1, I could get this bounty, and it looks like this would be absolutely terrible. I have to fight 2 seer zealots in the hand of Vecna. Okay, it's not Vecna, but I'm kidding. But it sounds like it. This doesn't seem good. 3 stars. They're going to kick my butt. So we're not, oh my gosh, the Widowmaker is even 4. Oh my gosh, again, we're not taking any of these on. And notice, not only do you have to fight these, but they do give a little bit extra to these enemies, or maybe a little bit less to these enemies, depending on where you are in the campaign and how this would actually affect you. Right? Oh, you get Ancient Root, Speaking Stones. So these are kind of neat, because if you go on these bounty quests, it looks like a lot of these do have to do with getting Speaking Stones, which are going to be useful in being able to do different stone-bound abilities, which is super cool. All right. That's the end. Nothing here we can do. I could pick these up, but I think we'll go back for them. Now, of course, we have the market. This is about the only thing I can actually do anything in. We could buy some. Oh, I can't buy these. Look at this horn. I can sell it for 20. In this area, that must mean that these are not very predominant. So I can't buy them, but they are looking for them in their city. And I could buy another wolf pelt for 16, but again, I only have 15. Or a cloth stick. Man, I can't buy that either. Now, I could buy this. I could buy it for 5, and it adds 2 of these to our bag, or another healing potion I want. I think we're okay. I don't think there's anything left for us to buy in this particular town. Remember, we're just trying to get to that fort right now, but after we get through to that fort, potentially coming back to some of these towns might be good. Like if I can fight one more thing and get this cloak, this thing would be awesome. I could give this to Alec. He doesn't have anything in his accessory slot yet. Now, I'm not sure how this would all transpire. I think if I go through these 2 nodes to get to 106, that would technically be in this particular mini-map, which then I could just go to 102 from that mini-map. I believe that's how it works. Otherwise, I'd have to come out here and go down this path here. And since I'm not exactly sure if you can do that, I'm going to take the harder of the paths, and you can tell me in the comments below if that was the case. Let's see here. So I could have came out here and gone through 2 more nodes, or we can go 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes to get to here, because it's actually going to land on our chip from the road. I believe I would be able to go this way, but we're going to go this way. No, not only is it going to be cool, I can also maybe fight some more things and get some cool new things. Hopefully I don't die. I'm going to grab some more chips here, shuffle them up, and we're going to see what we have found. We have found ourselves a 1 skull chip at node 91. 1 skull is going to give us a Brigand Marauder. We have seen this guy in the past. He has 7 health, 1 defense, and 1 health. I'm not too worried about this guy. This guy might not even last a round. We'll start with Alec. Again, the only reason I'm actually starting with Alec is because I'm hoping that he can give some chips to the rest of my characters. I'm really sure that what's-his-name is going to be able to take this guy out in 1 shot. Oh my gosh, look, I'm drawing all those chips now. Okay, we got ourselves 1, 2, a sword, and a shield, and these are our extra chips we were able to draw that didn't count towards our action total. Let's see what we can do with our chips. What we're going to do is we are going to empower, and we're going to empower this one. I like giving health chips to people. I'm a huge fan of that. We're going to give 3 health chips total here. We're going to empower this, and then we're going to use this chip. So we're going to act. Those are our 2 action cubes we're going to use. So I'm going to give add one to both bags, and then I'm going to give one to Gregory, so he now has an extra health chip in there. This is going to go into Alex's bag. He hasn't taken any damage, but I don't think he's going to be drawing it this turn because I have a feeling we're going to squash this guy. Then I'm going to use my last chip here. This one I'm going to use to attack with my primary attack card, which is only going to be a total of 2 damage, but that's okay. He only has 1 defense, so we'll get through. And then we're going to activate this as well, giving ourselves 1 defense. I'll put my cube on my defense, bringing my defense total to 2, and then we get to attack for 3. This poor Marauder is dying by 1,000 cuts here. The first one is going to do 2 points of damage. He has 1 defense, he's going to take 1. The next one is take 3 points of damage. He's going to take 2. He's down to 4 already. It is now Grigory's turn. He's got a whole ton of chips in here. Hopefully he can draw some of those health chips and heal himself here. He drew a sword. Let's see what else he draws. He draws himself 2 swords. That's what he gets, 2 swords. Oh, wow. Sadly, I'm not able to put any more chips in my bag. I was really, maybe I could. I can activate that to give myself a sword chip, which we're going to do. I'll put that token here. So I get to add 1 of these to his bag. So he now gets a green sword chip in his bag, just like that. Then I'm going to activate this, and I'm going to activate his main attack for 3 damage. And all of that will be enough to kill him. 1, 2 for my actual attack of 3 damage plus his 1 defense. Then I get to do 4 minus that. He's going to take 3. He's dead. This poor Brigand Marauder didn't stand a chance. I'm going to gain 2 Lux and 3 gold. So that brings us to 18 Sil and 28 Lux. We are continuing down the lowly old road here. We are on 90. We'll draw another token on here. I'm really hoping to get a compass is what I really want. Oh, I got a 2 skull. All right, let's see what that is. I want to see another one of those events. Those events were sweet. A 2 skull at 90 is going to be a Stone Hunter. We have not yet seen a Stone Hunter. It has 8 health. And it also gets 2 attack and 2 defense, and hopefully its cards are nice and not going to kill me. So I'll take these, give them a good old truffle shuffle here. I'm going to have a feeling that Stone Hunters might have some big, strong attacks in there. Now, we did not get surprised, so hopefully maybe we can take him down in 1 turn again. We'll start with Alex as usual. Hopefully I can get something to Grigory over there. That'd be really good. We got our Sword Shield card. That's going to be fantastic. We got a sword, and let's see what else we get. We got ourselves a heart chip. Oh, he's already at full health. Well, then that goes back in the supply. Actually, it should go right here, but I'm just going to put it in the supply for now so I don't forget it. Oh, another sword. I'm running out. Oh, wow, we used a lot of his chips, and I don't even think I can use all those with all the actions I have. What we're going to do is we are going to use 2 swords to activate Combine. That's going to give one of our guards a green cube. I am going to give this to ally gains a green cube for this Empower. We're going to empower that. Then I could give him a green cube as well, and then just give Alec or an ally's bag a red. No, I can't because I'm running out of action cubes. I only have 2. I have 1 here. They can activate. Oh, but I get to gain a green cube if I activate that. So I'll get a green cube when this becomes active, and then I can activate this to put a health chip into an Alex or an ally's bag. I'm going to give it to Grigory because he's down to 16 and Alex is at full health. I think that's my best play here. Now, one thing I could have done is I could have activated this to give myself a green action cube, to activate that to give a red health chip to him, and then I could have, if I wanted to, activated this to, instead of Empower, I could have flipped this card to the other side, which I could have used in the future, which would have flipped 2 non-active health card or potions, and Empower, add 2 of these to an ally's bag, a +2 attack. Wow, that's really good, actually. That's a Radiant Sunset. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do it this way instead. I think it's better because giving that action cube over to Grigory is going to be fantastic because his bag is just loaded with chips. The only question I should do is whether or not I'm going to attack with this. And I think I am, just to give myself the defense in case this thing targets the person with the lowest defense. That would be him, and there'd be nothing I could do about it. That way we're at least tied for defense, but I don't think that's going to last for very long. I do get to attack for 3. He's got 2 defense, so he's only going to take 1 health, going down to 7 health. Let's move over to Grigory. Grigory has a massive amount of chips in his bag. Let's see what we can draw from here. With my luck, I'll draw just black chips right. Oh, there's a black chip. Let's see what else we draw. We drew ourselves one of our heart chips. That's awesome. I want all the heart chips because my guy's in the world of hurt. A shield. Come on, something good, something good. Another heart chip. That's fantastic. Give me a green chip here. drawn all my hardships almost. But I did say I wanted them, so that's half the battle. Okay, we got 3 chips. I was really hoping for some of his green chips. I think he's got green chips in there that aren't hearts, but maybe I'm wrong. First thing I'm going to do is use my 3 heart chips to heal myself 3. 1, 2, 3, up to 19. That was awesome. Now I have a dilemma. Do I go this route with my 2 action cubes? I've got 3, but sadly I don't have the chips to pull off all 3 of these. It would have been really nice to be able to activate all 3 of those things. That would be really cool. But sadly, that's not how it's going to work. One thing I could do is I could do this. I could give myself one of these things and be able to grab an attack for 3 at -1, and then use my soul-bound card here to attack again for 4. -1 would be 3, so do a total of 5 damage to this guy, I think, because he has 2 defense. You go down to 1. I do a total of 3 attack normally, so I do 2, 4, 2, and then 4 attack normally, so I do 3. Yep, it'd be a total of 5 damage I could do, which isn't going to be enough to kill him. So I wonder if we should set myself up for the next turn. I think we are. We're instead going to set myself up. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use just a regular attack for 3, doing 2 points of damage, dropping him down to 5 health. That should be okay. And I'm going to save my cross slash, I think, for the next. No, I think I might just attack him now with the cross slash. It would do a total of 3 damage because it does 4 -2. I'll only do 2 damage. So, I wonder if I should do that. I think we'll save our cross slash for the next turn. So now I have to decide what I want. I think I'm going to take a defense chip and I'm going to take 2 attack chips from these 2 things, these 2 abilities here. We're going to put those into Grigory's bag, and he should be able to have a monster turn next time and hopefully be able to take this guy out. I'm going to put these into, I'm going to just discard those now. I should put those there, but I'm just going to get rid of them. That's totally fine. I do get to add 1 defense because I've activated my guard ability, and I've reset my action cubes, but I only was able to use 2 this turn. I may have misspoke when it came to how much damage I'm doing to this guy. Remember, Alec was able to attack for 3, -2 is 1, and I only did a normal attack, so it is a 3, -2 is 1, so he should be at 6 health. I may have said the wrong number. We'll draw his card and see what he does. He is going to do target self, fortify. He's going to cost 0 to do. Oh, he does have 2 action cubes. I apologize. I didn't put those down there. And he's going to gain an action cube, and then he's going to gain 2 defense until the start of the next turn. Draw a card. That's terrible. So we're going to grab 2 blue cubes. He's now at 4 defense. Okay, this guy's yucky. I'm just going to barf on this guy. He's going to gain 2 to the start of the next card, and then he's going to draw another card. So we'll draw this card and see what it is. He's going to attack the person with the highest amount of defense. That is going to be Grigory, who also should have the aggro token on him as well. I keep forgetting to put that there. Attack for 2. So he's going to use 2 of his action cubes to do +4. So he's going to do 4, 5, 6 damage. All of our healing just went down the tubes. 1, 2, 3, 4. He did 6 -2. Oh, I have 3 defense. So instead of that, 1, 2, 3, I should take only 3 damage, I believe. He does a total of 6. I've got 3 defense, so I only take 3 health. We'll set ourselves up for our next round. We're going to remove all of our green chips from the board. We're going to put these into the discard pile here. I also return these. They should be back there at the end of our actual turn. And we'll remove our blue cube for our defense. We are back to square one for him. We're going to put that in the cooldown position, and we're going to flip this card. Over here, Grigory will also put his 3 chips in the discard area and flip over these 2 cards to their secondary side and remove our blue cube from our defense because we hopefully will get it back. I might want to try to do that. We are going to start with Alec. Now, the thing is, I only have 1 chip in there, my bag, and I am able to look into my bag before we decide to start drawing chips. So I could take 1 damage to bring these chips back in my bag, but I'm actually not going to do that. I'm just going to draw the 1 chip, play it here to give myself a shield and a sword chip to put into either Alex's bag or an ally's bag. I'm going to put it into Alex's bag so he can have it for the next combat because I have a feeling that Grigory is probably going to take this guy out. Of course, I say that, and this could all go awry really fast. He has 3 action cubes, so he can draw 3 chips. He needs to draw some green ones, though. Oh, there's a health chip. That's pretty good. There's a ton of green chips in here. Hopefully, I can draw a few of those to be able to activate a couple of these abilities. We've gotten 2 of them so far, 2 black chips. Okay, now I think I can draw my last black chip. That'd be fantastic. Oh, well, here we go. Okay, our last one. I didn't need all of those chips. I just needed some of them. But we got a massive amount of chips. First off, we are going to heal 1, bringing our total back to 17. And we'll place that here. Then we have to decide what we want to do with all of these chips. One thing I forgot is that this guy actually has 4 defense right now. Totally forgot about that. Oh my gosh, I don't think I'm actually going to be able to kill him now that I think about it. We're going to try our best. I am going to use Feint. I'm going to use Feint for one of my actions. This is going to give the enemy a chip for defense, but it's only a -1. So he now has 3 defense. I am not going to be able to kill this guy. I'm going to have to go to another round. I'm going to use a double attack chip here and 2 action tokens to do a total of 2 plus his a normal attack of 3, so that's a total of 5. But remember, he's got a total of 4 defense -1 is 3, so 5 minus 3 is I'm only going to do 2 points of damage to him. That's pretty sad. And I have another attack chip. I could use my attack on him, but it's only going to do 3 damage, and he has that 3 defense, so that's not going to work. I totally forgot about the -4 defense that he's got. I could chain this to draw 2 chips from the bag, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this up and not do this damage. I think we're still going to do the critical attack, but I'm only going to do it as is. Instead of that, I am going to pay the 2 defense chips to do my take cover instead. So not giving him the -1 to defense. Instead, I'm going to give myself +2 to my defense, and I'm going to gain another green chip or another green action cube, which is fantastic. Now at this point, now that I chained that, then I can activate this, which if I want to, I could do a feint here, which brings him down -1, and then I can attack him with this to be able to do some damage. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use all of our action cubes. First one we are going to do is we are going to do, actually, okay, we can actually do this, I think. We're going to do this first, which is going to do a -1 to the enemy. Then we are going to do this over here, which gives myself +2, activates this, and gives me a green cube. So then we have our green cube that we used, and now I gain another green cube. At this point now, I will use the 2 tokens and this double sword chip to hit him with the -1. So we are still able to hit him with the -1, which is fantastic. And then I will use my cross slash this turn, I think, as well. And that's only going to do 1 damage, but that'll be okay. That'll drop him down to 4 health. And I think that's about all I can do for him, sadly. Sadly, I say. And I could draw 2 chips from Grigory's bag as another chain, and I actually am going to do that. Mainly the only reason I'm doing it is to empty his bag. That way I don't have to take a damage in order to put all these chips back in. Though, of course, it was a green chip, which I could have used in the future. But I hope that made sense on everything I did. So let's go over it again really quick. We're going to do feint first, which is going to give the -1 defense to the enemy. I don't get to do the attack. That's totally fine. Then we're going to use our guard card or take cover card, which is going to give us +2. So we now have 4 defense, and it gives us an extra green cube, which we're going to use over here for the 2 action cubes to be able to attack with our double attack here for a total of 5 points of damage. -2 is 3 points of damage, and then we use our cross slash, which is 4, -3 is 1 point of damage. So we actually did 3, which isn't too bad, but we used absolutely every action token we have, and I am going to gain the aggro token. We're going to discard this and move into his next turn. He's got 3 action cubes. This could start going very badly for me. It says here he's going to go with the person with the highest attack. Well, good news, that is Grigory, who's got an absolutely astronomical amount of defense right now. He is going to attack the target with a thrust. So he's going to use 1 to do a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 points of damage. I do have 4 defense, so I take no damage, which is awesome. Then we're going to target the self. He is going to parry. He is going to use 1 cube. He loses these for now. Which is going to give him 1 blue cube there. Then he's going to, until the start of the next turn, then he's going to repose. He is going to pay 0 to draw 1 card. So we'll draw another card here as I throw it over there. Let's see what he has. He is going to go with the lowest defense. So now this is targeting Alec. And for 1 action point, he is going to add a -1 defense token to the target's bag. At this point, he will attack the target, but he can't because he is now out of action cubes. So that's the end of his turn. But I am going to have to drop one of these into Alex's bag, which isn't the end of the world because he's hopefully can draw it out and that'll be it. So good news, he only has 3 defense this turn. Maybe we can actually take him out. Now, sadly, my plan has gone completely awry. I was hoping to actually be done with this guy by now. We're going to discard his chip, and this will be activated again. The reason why is because remember I put those green chips in here, so I've got that green and that red chips in here. So I could take a damage again to put all of these back in, but I want to say that we can take this guy out. I said that last time, and it didn't work out too well. We'll see how we can do. We're going to leave him as is. Meanwhile, over here at Cleanupville, we're going to have have to clean this up, this up, this up. These all go away. These are all going to be discarded to here. We're going to put our action cubes back up there. This is going to get reset to here. I'm going to remove my 2 defense. They're no longer there. Totally fine. And we're going to return these to the supply and put these back in our bag because I don't have any chips in my bag. So we're going to put those back in there. And then I've got to turn every one of these cards over because we used them all, which was pretty awesome. And that was a fantastic turn. Now I do have 4 actions and I'm not going to be able to use all 4. Oh, maybe I can. I can even use that one. That'd be awesome. But I don't think I'm going to have enough chips to be able to do all those things. Well, we'll see how it goes. I had to put this into cooldown and I think that's it. He is ready to go. The question is, do I take the damage to grab all these chips and put them back in the bag, or do I just draw what I have? I think I'm just going to draw what I have. I think it'll be okay. And I'm just going to draw them all out. It doesn't really matter what order I draw them in. He's got -1 defense. That's terrible. I'll put that in the negative slot here. But then he's got a sword and a shield, and he can't draw anymore because there's nothing left in his bag. I'm going to activate this here, and I am going to activate this here, which is going to put those back in his bag again. Is that really what I'm going to do? Oh my gosh, is that going to be a good idea? Well, you know, we're going to do it because we're going to do some damage to him and he's hopefully going to die. I'm going to use my 2 cubes here, and I can put these in an ally's bag or I can put them in Alex's bag. And this time we are going to put them in our ally's bag. We're going to put no, we're not, because otherwise I'm going to have to draw those because he has nothing in his bag. So I am going to put these back in Alex's bag. Maybe this will be enough to finally get through this. We'll see. And I get to attack here because I did activate this. So I get to attack an enemy for +2 damage. And he does a total of 2 damage, so I'm doing 4 damage. The enemy has 3 defense, so he is going to take 1, dropping his total down to 3 health. Oh my goodness, this guy's a monster. So now I've added all the chips that were in the discard back into his bag, and that's pretty much, he's back to a normal amount of chips here. I've got 1 attack. I can draw a total of 4 black chips, a shield. I need another shield. Good, and now I need an attack. Yeah, all right, we got him. I got to do all 4 things. This is going to be great. We're going to be able to first add this to Gregory's bag. We can do that with this reposition. We also have a guard and we also have advance. So now it's just a matter of which order I want to do these, because one of them is going to be doing only one thing while the other ones can all chain. And now I realize if I do all this, I actually am not even attacking the guy. None of these actually do any damage. I have to actually use one of these to hit for 3, but he's got 3 defense, so I can't actually do anything. It's another prepare round, and sadly, Alec, I'm not doing as much as I should for Alec. I should have maybe took the damage to put those tokens back in. That might have been the way to go. Oh well. I am going to put one of these into Grigory's bag. I am going to chain that, I think, into another one. So we're going to chain that one. We're also going to grab a shield token, and we're going to chain that one as well. And then we're going to grab a attack one from over here. Those are the things we're going to do. We're going to put all of these into his bag. And he does have a few other chips in there as well. So I think we'll be able to see all of those chips next turn. We're going to put those back up here. That's going to be the end of his turn. I do get 1 defense, so I have 3 defense right now, and I think that's about it. I do apologize. I should have done this. There's no reason I shouldn't have. It will do a total of 3 damage. It's not actually going to hurt him, but this +1 defense, I need that because I drew out this chip that gives me that -1 defense. So I have a 1 defense at least doing this in that order. If this guy draws a card that gives me 2 defense, I am going to be super sad. Let's draw the card and see what happens here. He first gets all his cubes back. He is going to activate an active speaking stone. Oh no, he's going to attack Alec. That's terrible because he activated a speaking stone. And if I shouldn't have, it would have attacked Gregory. Dang it. All right, let's see what it says. Attack target, sealing strike. He's going to do 2 of these, and he is going to do a total of 4 damage, and he is going to add a fear token, I think is what it's called, to his bag. And I'll explain this token when I drop it into his bag here in just a second. So he is going to grab one of these tokens right here. We're putting that into his bag. And add 1 to the target's bag. So that's going to do a total of 4 damage and this token, and then his turn will end. He does lose this, so I don't think he's going to be around much longer. Alec did get hit for 4 damage. He has 1 defense because I activated the speaker stone, so he's going to take 3, 1, 2, 3, down to 17. This fear token is going to go into his bag right there. What that token does is if it's drawn, it'll immediately stop the player from drawing more chips. during the draw for current guard. There are some abilities that we might gain through the game that allow us to kind of bypass that fear chip and be able to keep on drawing. But for now, we don't have anything like that. We are going to get rid of some of these chips here. We're going to get rid of those 2 chips. We're going to put those back in the supply. This is also going to go back in the supply. That's gone. These are supposed to go up there. These discarded chips are still going to remain there. I can take a damage if I want to do that, but I'm not going to. Again, we are going to continue to go with Alec just being how he is, and this flips over because I used it, and he's going to gain this. I do get the combined ability now. I could do the empower if I wanted to be able to use something up here, but of course if I draw the fear token, that's going to be bad news. I am going to use Alec first, mainly because I want to try to get rid of that fear token from this bag. Okay, we drew the fear token. He's done. That's actually okay. I actually support that. That's actually fantastic for me. He's done drawing. He's not going to draw anymore. And hopefully Grigory can take this guy out. Now he only has 2 defense. Grigory is going to discard these tokens, put this back on active ability. We're going to remove our token from our defense and draw some chips here and hopefully be able to take this guy out. We drew up an attack chip. We drew a +1 to attack, which is fun. We drew ourselves a sword. We drew ourselves another defense. There's so many chips in here. Another +1. Yeah, this guy's in a world of hurt. Oh my gosh, I do everything. This guy's not going to live. He's going to get hit with everything I've got here. Now, sadly, I don't got much I can put into bags. Oh, I should have flipped all these cards. I'm sorry. We used all of these cards. They should all be flipped over. So I could, yeah, there's nothing here I can even put into any of my bags. I'm just going to activate everything I've got here. I think this is going to be absolutely fun. We're going to do that, and let's see, I could activate, oh, I can't activate everything. That's kind of funny. That's okay. We'll do this one. We'll do this and this. There we go. And we'll use both of these in the positive status areas, and we'll use this to attack with, and that will just hang out, and we'll cross-slash him into next week. I think he just took 42 points of damage. I'm going to use this first. Being able to do this, I could draw more chips. I don't have any, so let's do it in the reverse order. This will attack first, doing a total of 5 damage. He's going to take 3. Then this will fire off. He's going to get -1. He's going to do 3 minus 1 is he's going to take 2. So right now he's taking, what, 6 points of damage, do some more damage. Yeah, this guy is wrecked. I wrecked him. He's dead. And of course, don't forget, I get +1 to all this. This is out of control. So he took about 432 points of damage, and he is super dead. Let's see what we got ourselves. We got ourselves 4 Lux and 5 Sil. Oh, 5 Sil is fantastic. Maybe we can actually buy something when we get to a next city. Well, I'm not going to a city. We're going to Fort Istra. Maybe we can buy something there. This brings our luck total to 32. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're at 32 luck essence, and we get 5 more Sil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're up to 23. So 32 and 23. Now mine spin really badly. I haven't had a chance to fix this, but I did get a comment that says if you're interested, I think you can try to squeeze these down with a pliers, and maybe it'll help them become be able to stick a little bit better. I haven't tried that yet, but that was an idea of that what somebody commented on. We're continuing on down. We're going to 97. We're going to draw out another chip here and see what we have gotten for our brave adventurers here. We've got a compass, so that's pretty awesome. I'll add a purple cube to that particular set of events. And at 97, I could be ambushed by a plane strider. I could fight 2 brigand marauders, or I can take on a Flumrund. I could fight a scout. I think I'm going to try, let's take out a plane strider. I haven't tried one of those. I know it ambushes us, but that's okay. Here's our plane strider, 7 health, 2 attack, 1 defense, and 2 action cubes. We'll shuffle up our strider's deck here, give it a good old shuffle here, and we'll draw out our first card because it did ambush us. Let's see what happens. He is going to put the highest defense. That's going to be Grigory. He's going to attack the target if the plane strider has an evasion token. He does not. If the plane rider has an evasion token, it's going to do charging strike. I do not. So it's then instead going to do charging strike for 1 action point, doing 2 damage. So it's actually do a total of 4 damage. 2 plus 2 is 4. Grigory is going to take 2 damage, not the end of the world. Now it's our turn. I am going to start with Alec. Hopefully he can get some of those health potions into the bags of people. That's been amazing. I like that. I'm just going to put that right there. And then we want another defense. Oh, we got that. I can put that over there. And then I got a defense. Oh, look at that. Oh, and I get to keep drawing because it's not even, I haven't got to my limit yet. Oh my gosh, I'm going to activate everything. That's super good. Now, one thing I could do is I can activate 2 of these things and then flip one of these if I want to. What would one of these flip into? This one would flip into this, which is adding poison to an enemy. or empower enemy poison. No, I'm not. I don't think that's okay. I like the healing instead. Let's see what this one does if I empower it. Let's see here. I can draw the next card for an enemy. Remove one negative chip from Alex's or an ally's bag. Draw one, okay. Nope, I don't think I'm gonna do that either. We are just gonna, I think we're just gonna activate what we got here. I think this would be fantastic. Okay, I only have 2 cubes, so I can't actually activate everything that I think about it. I can only activate 2 things. Oh, that's too bad. Well, that's okay. I'm still going to attack then with that. This one's just gonna hang out. Because what I'm gonna do is I am going to empower this, which means I'm gonna give 2 health, I'm gonna give 1 to both bags, and then I'm gonna activate this to give a health chip to Grigory. So Grigory does have 2 health chips he's gonna get, and Alex is gonna take 1. So we'll put those into Grigory's bag. There we go. And that's gonna be all I'm gonna do because I only have the 2 cubes that I can activate here. And I'm totally fine with that. Sadly, this would have been really cool to put here to give that extra action point, but I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to activate this to do 3 damage, and then activate that to do 2 damage. 3 minus 1 is 2, and then 2 minus 1 is 1, down to 4 health already. I also gain 1 defense for Alec. He's up to 2 as long as our thing is active. We'll draw our chips for Grigory. Hopefully he draws some of those health chips. I'd really like him to get some health. He got a shield, and he got himself a shield. Oh no, 2 shields aren't going to really help. I'm going to turn 2 shields into a sword so I can attack with my captain's blade, and I'm going to use my cross slash. Cross slash does 4 minus 1 is 3. 1, 2, 3, and then my normal attack of 3 minus 1 is 2. He is a super dead Planestrider. I'm going to give myself 2 Lux and rough leather. I love it. Our Lux is up to 34. Let's see if I can go the right way. There you go, 34. And then I get another hard leather. So what we're going to do is flip this card to the 2 slot. So I don't have to take up more room in my inventory here. I just get an extra one like that. We have 1 more node to go, and I'm glad we went this way because I was able to get some really good resources, and I'm really not doing too bad when it comes to my health and everything. I think we're going to do okay. Let's draw our last token out of our bag before we get to the final destination here. We have drawn into ourselves a double skull. Wow, enemies everywhere. We're on number 99, so we have 1 Brigand Marauder. Oh, this guy's not going to last long. We'll start with Alec. Alec, I mean, hopefully he can get that combined again and get some more health chips flying around here. We got the super chip. That's fantastic. I still get to draw 2 more. Oh, we got a sword, and I don't have enough actions for all this, but that's okay. We got lots of fun stuff. Okay, this one we're not even going to use, but that's okay. I do love this combined to be able to give health potions to everybody, and I'm going to attack him for 3, and I'm going to activate that. So again, Alex is going to get 1 of these chips, and I'm going to put 2 of these into Grigory's bag, and for this, because I'm going to combine this one, or empower this to add 1 to both bags, and then I'm going to be able to activate this to add 1 to Alex or a ally's bag. We'll attack him for a total of 3 and 2. So I attacked him for 3 and 2. He's got 1 defense, so 3 goes to, I take 2 from the 3 and 1 from the 2. So he's at a total of 4 already. At 4 health, he's pretty much almost already dead just my cross slash, and we're going to draw out some chips. I can draw a total of 2. Hopefully I get some of those health chips to heal myself up. That would be awesome. We got an attack chip, and we got ourselves, come on, 1 more chip here. Oh, we got a health chip. Good, that's good. Mix these up a little bit, and we're going to grab, oh, another health chip. That's awesome. We're up on 2 health. Oh, we're on 3. Just keep grabbing those health chips. All right, there we go. We got 3 health, and I get to activate my, I think I'm just going to attack him with this, and then I'll use this to grab my, give myself a extra shield token to put into my bag that we can use for our next battle. So these 3 are going to go here. This is going to be an attack. I'm just going to put it up there, and then I'm going to activate this with my cubes to put this into my bag just like that. And I'll also activate my cross slash. Going up 3, 1, 2, 3 brings me back to 18. 4 minus 1, 1, 2, 3, and 3 minus 1, he's super dead. I'm going to give myself 2 Lux and 3 Sil, bringing my Sil to 26 and my Luck to 36. And with that last one, we are moving into 102, which is our narrative event. Upon arrival at node 102, place the Fort Istra minimap on the table, remove all building pieces from the board and place them to the side. Move the guard to Fort Istra North Gate. Proceed to page 19 and read chapter 2.1. This now brings us to the end of Chapter 1. The exploration phase now uses enemy index for Chapter 2 on page 7 of the indexes book. Here is Fort Istra. I'm going to put myself on the North Gate, and it did tell me to punch out all of these. These are what you're going to use to, as you proceed through the game, you're going to gain materials and things to be able to rebuild this fort. And each one of these locations is going to be able to allow you to do different things. You can have like a barracks where you can rest your characters, blacksmith where you can do equipment. There's even places that would even help you go mining. You can get a fishing boat. You can do all these different things in this one little area. Now, of course, we don't have anything. We came to this ruined place here, and we'll see what happens. Let's check out our narrative. Another thing I want to mention before we go forward is once we landed on that narrative event, we cannot change kind of what our characters are carrying. So if we had any items in our satchel we wanted to put into an active area for our adventurers in case there's a fight during the narrative event, we couldn't do that. We'd only be able to do that before we walked onto that narrative event. For us, that doesn't really matter. We don't have anything like that, but just be aware of that in the future. We have made it to Fort Istra, Chapter 2.1 in the North Gate. This is going to be narrated by Forteller. If this is the first video you're seeing and you didn't see any of the other videos, Forteller is an amazing company that provides narrative to many different board games and also provides ambient music and sound effects to any type of playing game experience you're interested in. I'll put a link to Forteller's information in the description of this video if you wish to learn more about the company and what they do, and if you're ever interested in picking up narrative events not only for Isofarian Guard but for all the other games they make as well.
Ages ago, the Drevny Forest began life as a congregation of hardy young pine trees. The quick-growing pine wood was perfect for laying the foundations of the empire that would follow. In those early days, just after the Sundering, it is said that the forest was harvested nearly to extinction. In place of the trees stood great fortresses stretching all along Isofar's southern border. Generations of soldiers lived and died defending the border against Falmond, until, after years of stalemate, an uneasy truce was formed. The border forts were gradually abandoned, and the Drevny Forest grew wild and dense, reclaiming the land for itself. It was through this ancient gnarled forest that Dunamis led your small company. After navigating the labyrinthine forest for days, you now stand before the ruins of an ancient fort. Tree roots and smaller vegetation have worked together to take down large sections of the wall. The inner buildings lay in similar ruins. You pick out a smithy, recognizable only by the forge poking out of the rubble and the distinctive circular layout of a guard tower, now tumbled in on itself. You can only guess at what the other buildings may have been. You don't know what you expected, but it wasn't this. Dunamis has been strangely quiet, but now he stops just outside the gate and turns to address everyone.
Welcome to Fort Istra. It doesn't look like much now, but there is more here than meets the eye.
With that, he steps through the open gate and completely disappears. There are audible gasps from those around you. You somehow manage to keep the surprise off your face. There is nothing left to do but lead the others into the fort.
At this point, we'll move the guards to Fort Istra's training yard and proceed to page 20 and read chapter 2.2. Here's the training yard right here. It's not really there, but that's okay. We'll put our characters right there on the training yard. And we'll move into the next chapter, 2.2, training yard. This one is by Alec.
As you follow the captain to the open gate, you notice a slight shimmer in the air. You pass through the shimmering air and step into a large yard. Immediately, you are met by an unnatural silence. The sounds of the trees and the nearby river have suddenly gone quiet. Other than that, nothing appears to have changed. The fort still lies in ruins all around you. But then you notice Dunamis and wonder how you could have missed him. The unremarkable man is no longer there. In his place stands a giant of a man covered head to toe in shining golden armor. Speaking stones are fastened to the armor, surrounded by intricate designs. He casually rests one massive hand on a great sword, which is planted in the ground. With a shock, you realize the sword is taller than you. Though there is no physical similarity to the man who led you here, you still recognize him as Dunamis. As more people enter the gate, you are secretly pleased to see the same shocked expressions playing across their faces when they notice Dunamis. Dunamis allows a few moments for you and your awestruck companions to compose themselves before he begins to speak.
It is not my intention to frighten you. You are merely seeing me as I truly am. I assure you, you have nothing to fear here.
His deep, rumbling voice does nothing to lessen the apprehension you feel. You do your best to push the fear down and focus on what he is saying.
The barrier you pass through serves as a gateway. This place both is and isn't part of Isofarian. Time does not flow the same way here. This is a place you can rest, a sanctuary from Tenebris. Here, you will learn to use the power of the speaking stones. Not all of you are called to be fighters, but you all have a vital role to play. Stay here as long as you like. Rest, train, grow stronger. Just know that when you leave this place, you return to a world that still needs your help. The influence of Tenebris darkens all of Telios.
Grigory is the first to find his voice.
Thank you for bringing us here, Dunamis. This place is truly a wonder. But when we leave here, how will we fight against Tenebris? It is not something we can strike at with steel or pierce with arrows.
The battle against Tenebris will be fought in the hearts of people. Your greatest weapon is not a sword, but the truth. You must rally the people of Isofar to rise up and cast off the shadows that are binding them.
Where shall we begin?
You are surprised to find that the question came out of your own mouth.
Forgive me, Dunamis, but this task seems too large to accomplish alone.
Dunamis turns his gaze towards you, and you suddenly feel very uncomfortable.
You are not alone.
You sense the reassuring voice speaking to you, even now in the back of your mind, and you are ashamed at your momentary lack of faith.
You are not expected to win back this world by yourselves. There are stonebound all across Telios, fighting against Tenebris even as we speak. Each of us can only do our part.
And what is our part to be?
North of here are the farmlands of Mir. A war is brewing there between the farming guilds. If you can end the growing conflict and convince the people of Mir to join you, you will have access to a stable food supply, extra craftsmen, and most importantly, people. You are leading a movement now.
I understand. We will make for Mir as soon as we are settled here. Will you be coming with us? Your help would go far in bringing hope to Isofar.
I am needed elsewhere, but I shall aid you when I can. Remember, there is one greater than me who was always with you.
As you listen to Dunamis imparting his final words, the speaking stones on his armor get steadily brighter, until there is a flash of light, and Dunamis is gone.
Now we'll move our guards to Fort Istra's barracks and proceed to page 21. We'll read chapter 2.3. I appreciate your patience as we go through all of this narrative. I hope you find it as exciting as I do. This is really the meat of the game. I love the story that's going on inside this game. Again, our barracks is a pile of rubble, as you can see, but that's okay. Our characters are going to go over there and check it out. Grigory's going to tell us about the Fort Istra barracks.
With Dunamis gone, everyone is looking to you now. After seeing Dunamis's true form, you can't help but feel a little inadequate. After Dunamis's grand exit, everyone is still clumped together, no doubt a little overwhelmed and finding comfort in the company of others. You think it best to get everyone's mind off of the big picture and focus on the here and now. Job assignments.
Okay, everyone, listen up. Our mission is to save Isofar from the threat of Tenebris.
There are a few chuckles at this, and a voice calls out.
Not just Isofar, but apparently all of Telios.
More laughter. You're pleased to see that morale is up.
Yes, all of Telios. But let's start with Isofar, shall we?
A chorus of eyes rises up from the small group.
We need to focus on what we can do right here, right now. Food and shelter is a priority. When our immediate needs are met, we can focus on rebuilding this place. I'd like to get that forge up and running again, and rebuild these barracks. We'll need to make this place something that can support an army.
Captain, I'm pretty good with my hands. If we can secure the right materials and a little help, it shouldn't be too hard to get these buildings back in working order.
Good man, Ban. I'll entrust you to lead the rebuilding effort.
Yes, sir.
You scan the remaining group and see eager eyes staring back at you, hungry to be given a task. You pick Kellen out of the group and call him to stand at your side.
You all know Kellen. He is an excellent soldier with an impeccable record. I'm sure at some point each of you have been bested by him in training. I'll be leaving Kellen in charge while Alec and I make the journey to recruit people from Mir. He will hand out job assignments and act in my stead while I am gone.
A light round of cheers goes up from the group.
Thank you, sir. I'll do my best to make you proud.
I am already prouder than you know. The courage each of you has displayed in coming here is inspiring. I am only afraid that more will be asked of you in the coming months. Whatever lies ahead, I can't help but share in your optimism. Maybe it's this place, or maybe it's the voice lending us courage. Whatever it is, I feel we can't lose.
Well said, Captain. When will you and Alec be off?
I was thinking dawn tomorrow. What do you think about that, Alec?
Sounds good, Captain. This place is amazing, and I know Dunamis said we can stay as long as we want, but I want to get out there and start making things right.
Tomorrow it is, then. Kellen, I trust you'll do an excellent job while we're gone.
We're going to get a monstrous amount of equipment now. Look at this. Looking through the ruins of the fort, you manage to salvage materials that may help on your mission. That is a ton of stuff. We get 2 smoke bombs, 2 purifying seeds, 4 iron ore, 4 metal fragments, 4 pine, and 2 rough leather. This is stuff we can bring back to some of those towns that we passed earlier and hopefully be able to forge some new items and equipment for our characters. A lot of other stuff is also opened up to us as well. It says that Fort Istra is now active. We can read Welcome to Fort Istra and Bane's request in the Fort Istra index in the index books on page 64. We'll probably go to that very soon. We also have the caravan quest is now active. A mysterious caravan is now traveling through Isofar. Place the caravan chip on node 61. Read the introduction on page 112 in the quest book. That's something we could attempt to do if we're interested in. There's also a side quest that is now activated. Additional adventures await you. Read the introduction on page 3 in the quest book. Now, we're also going to place narrative chip on node 83. This begins our exploration phase. Upon arrival at node 83, proceed to page 22 and read chapter 2.4. This game, I believe, does encourage exploration, so just running straight to your node 83 might not be the greatest plan. Checking out some of these other quests might be a really good way to start out your adventure here in Isofar now that I guess you could say, I know it said that the tutorial was done, but this really feels like it's done and it's opening up the entire world to us. We have Welcome to Fort Istra, found in the index book. Notice there is no Forteller symbol there, so this isn't narrated by Forteller because it's not in the main narrative book. But I believe they're working with Forteller to try to make almost all of this narrated by Forteller, but I could be wrong. We're going to look at our thing here. It says, Welcome to Fort Istra. Fort Istra will serve as the main hub for the guards throughout all the campaigns. This location has its own special minimap that you'll keep on the table while playing. Fort Istra is a place for the guards to rest, train, and grow stronger. When you first arrived at the fort, it's in ruins and not operational. You'll have to rebuild the fort's buildings to get things running again, which will unlock new content and mechanics. As Dunamis stated, this place both is and isn't part of Isofarian. Time does not flow the same way here. I don't know where I made that voice up from, but whatever. As you rebuild the fort, its progression will carry over from one campaign to the next. How quickly the fort is rebuilt is completely up to you. Reference the index whenever the guards land on a node within Fort Istra and see what actions are available to you. This is the other thing it told us to read, was Ban's request. It says, to begin the rebuilding effort, Ban has requested materials to get the lumber mill up and running. This building is required before the other locations can be rebuilt. To obtain the materials, you'll need to harvest wood and mine ore from various nodes around Isofarian. And I've pointed those out, I think, in our last video. They're those little green ones, and I'll show them again in just a second. Ban hands you some tools to perform these actions. At this point, we obtain a wood chopping axe and a pickaxe. These tools may be used by guards in any campaign once they've reached Fort Istra. These are the two cards we now have, the wood chopping axe. While in Satchel, you may harvest during an exploration phase. And then we also have the pickaxe. While in Satchel, you may mine during the exploration phase. And these do have to go in the Satchel, so they are going to take up some slots. These cards must be placed in an open Satchel slot of one of the guards when harvesting or mining during the exploration phase. We can check that out here on page 21 and 22. If you do not wish for the tools to take up a Satchel slot, you may store them in the Fort Istra stash, which I'll talk about in just a moment, and return the cards to the supply. In order to rebuild or upgrade buildings at Fort Istra, you must collect the required materials for each building. The requirements for each building, as well as the benefits gained, are listed under each building section in the index. Once you've collected the materials by harvesting, mining, or other means, you can drop them off by moving the guards to Fort Istra's courtyard and place the materials in the stash. Once you obtain the required materials needed to rebuild or upgrade a building, you remove the materials from the stash, mark the box next to the building with an X using a pencil, and place the piece in the correct place on Fort Istra's mini-map board. Reference this index for details on what functions and bonuses are available for each building. For example, here is the lumber mill index here for Fort Istra. It says that he has requested that the lumber mill be rebuilt from the ruins so that the reconstruction of Fort Istra can begin. This building is required before any other building can be rebuilt. So in order to build this, we have to find 4 pine. And we're going to get that by harvesting. And then it says how to use. There's no action required. Allows other buildings in Fort Istra to be rebuilt. Once the lumber mill has been built, the other buildings within Fort Istra can be built in any order. The base version of each building must be completed before it can be upgraded. As you see here, our mill can be upgraded as we go through it and be able to do different things for us. So if we upgrade our lumber mill, we'll be able to use some of our lucks instead to instantly harvest 4 materials. And depending on what lucks you use, you're able to get these materials instead of having to go out into the world. Of course, I think this is going to be something way down the line because I kind of want to power up my guys right now. Another building we could eventually build is a boat dock, which gives us the ability to travel on the water nodes of the blue nodes, which is a good way to get around Isofar fast. Also, we're able to gain this fishing pole, which we can use to fish and potentially find more ways of healing ourselves. Also going forward, we could build a barracks, which is going to be able to reduce 10 lucks to be able to heal ourselves and remove a negative chip from our guard's bag. So that's something we can come back and heal ourselves instead of having to pay at those places. One of the final places you can build is our training yard. And this allows you to do different challenges to be able to gain better cards and things for your particular guards going forward. For example, you can take on these particular challenges as long as it happens during your area. So this one can be any campaign. For example, we can try this challenge. If we're able to do what it says what we're supposed to do, we're able to gain this particular upgrade, the Adept Stone ability card, which could be absolutely fantastic. I haven't looked at it, so I don't really know. Or of course, we could maybe attempt this one somewhere down the line and gain this particular item if we meet the requirements of the particular challenge. Just be aware, there are a ton of challenges that you can do in Fort Istra, and they're going to span all the different campaigns from what I understand. We also have an ability to gain our blacksmith here. Now, the interesting thing about the blacksmith, what he has for sale doesn't cost gold. It's going to cost lucks to craft. So again, those are also our experience points. So I'm not sure how many of these we're going to ever craft at the beginning of the game, but as we go forward, this might be stuff like end game type equipment, because we might have Lux that we have left over that we can't use to upgrade our guys because we've done so much already. And but we also have to pay some of the material costs. But again, notice no gold is being used. But look at what we're able to get. This one is 4 attack, and this gives us 3 slots to put stone bound abilities into, and it also gives us health. I shouldn't say stone bound abilities. It gives us the ability to put in our speaking stones, our like different speaking stones. And right now, of course, our weapon can only hold 1, but these can hold so much more. This could hold 3 different stones. We do have an apothecary that we can build as well that's going to be able to make different potions. Here's just a few of the potions, and notice again, it doesn't cost us any sil to be able to do this. I keep calling it gold, I apologize. Instead, it's just going to cost us ingredients, and so we'll have to try to find these ingredients in order to make these particular potions that we could bring with us in our satchel, and of course have 1 active item during any type, before we go into any battles or any narrative events. Much like the upgraded a lumber mill, I should say, you can gain one of these buildings that's going to be able to allow you to spend Lux to find certain ores out in the world where you don't have to go to those nodes. This place will do it for you, but of course you have to pay that Lux, which again, I'm not liking the Lux spending, but I'm guessing maybe in the future when we have a lot, that would be a way to use it. The courtyard you don't have to build, it's always active. What this does is it's basically always going to be a save point for you if you don't have another save point out on the world. On top of that, you can bring items to the courtyard and be able to trade them in for stone bound abilities. Here's just a couple of them over here. So if we ever get this particular item, we can bring this to the courtyard and we'd be able to get the Remnant Song stone bound ability card. And this is of course going to be used by Catherine, so it's not something we're going to get for this particular campaign. And last but not least, you can hold equipment and stuff here. For example, you can pretty much stash anything you want at Fort Istra. There are multiple pages of this, and you can print all these off on their website. So if you don't want to mark up your book, on anything that has any of these white boxes, I believe you can print from their website so you don't have to mark it off in your book. It shows you an example of how to put things in the stash. So for example, we do have our 26 sil. We could write 26 sil here, leave it all in this stash. So if we go on our next exploration area and we find a monster that absolutely destroys us, we wouldn't lose the gold that we have, or sorry, the sil that we have, because we left it in our stash, which isn't a bad idea. On top of that, we do have a bear pelt and 2 of these rough leather. We have 2 of those, and we have a wolf pelt as well. We could put all of that into this particular stash. Our wolf pelt and rough leather are all found down here, and of course any of the mining and harvesting we find, we can also stash here as well. So we probably will put these in our stash. And don't forget, we got a lot of equipment starting items and harvesting materials just from coming here. So we'll probably put those in our stash as well for now and decide what we want to take with us when we move into our next exploration phase. Now, on top of all of our resources, we're able to put any weapons and accessories and things in here as well, so we can come back to them in some time. We also have speaking stones we can put in here and any of the items that we find along the way. And remember, we can also leave our wood chopping axe and pickaxe here if we don't want to carry it with us. Now, from what I understand, I could be wrong, you do not get to carry over your stash into the next campaign though. Your campaign will restart. So this is the one for campaign 2. Each place is going to have its own set of ones that are starting out again. So again, we're in campaign 3 over here, and it has its own set of stash that you can put in, and number 4, and it's pretty much the same stuff. It's just it says campaign 4 up here, and sadly it's right out of the picture. I apologize, but that's about it. Then of course we go to the skill tree, which we've already talked about in our last video. But speaking of our skill tree, we now do have 36 Lux as opposed to 10. So I will now, for real this time, I will have my Patreon decide what we should do. We can get 3 nodes worth of stuff with our 36 essence. We already have combined. So now we are in chapter 2. We could even move up these little areas here. So we could move into a double sword and maybe gain this ability per purification. Or for Grigory, we could maybe take a sword and +1 shield, or we could go a +1 +1 health, +1 health, and then gain this flank if we want to. So I'm going to, if you're interested, please pause this video right here. And if you're a part of my Patreon, be prepared to figure out what we should do in this game as to how we should build out our particular characters, Alec and Gregory. Be prepared for a, I guess, a poll or even a request from me in that. If you're not a part of the Patreon, please check out in the description of this video. I'll have a link to the Patreon there, which you can join, and you can help shape our 2 guards as we go through this game. This is all the stuff that we now have in our possession. This is it. This is a lot of stuff. Now it does say in order to build the lumber mill, we have to spend 4 pine. We do have the 4 pine right here, so I think we're just going to build this lumber mill. I don't see why we wouldn't, because that's what you're supposed to do. The other stuff, we're probably going to put all of this in the stash, unless we think we might want to use some of it to get new items from those towns that we know so well and love. I do have 26 sil, and we know that we could spend, oh, remember that cloak we had that was 20? We could go back and buy that. Now, sadly, that would be all we could get. So with the rest of this, we're probably just going to leave here unless there's another place that we could use some of this to build. So we were able to build back our lumber mill, so we'll replace that particular chip right there, and I should say inlay right there. And then if we ever upgrade it though, we'll flip this to the other side and be able to upgrade it from that position there. So do know we have our lumber mill ready to go, so at this point we could build any of the other things. Now of course I don't have the materials to build any other building we have, so we'll have to gather some of those if that's something we want to do. The 2 new items we got that we haven't seen before, the smoke bomb and the purifying seed, both are going to do cool things. This one, both guards gain 2 evasion chips. And this one says remove up to 3 negative chips from a bag, apothecary ingredients. There's also an ingredient for the apothecary if we ever decide to build it, which would be kind of cool. So there you have it. I think that's about all we're going to be able to do in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the playthrough of Isofarian Guard. We have 36 lust and 26 sil. Our guards are fantastic. I'm still digging the miniature. I think it's absolutely awesome. We have some really cool materials, and it's time to explore the world and see what else we can go forward in getting. So what we're going to try to do is decide what we should go next. Should we go straight to, I think we should check out a couple of those side quests in the next video. That could be an absolutely fantastic experience. Or we could maybe set out to try to find particular materials to bring back to start building up our city, or materials to be able to bring to some towns to be able to craft some new items like new weapons, or even some new armor or item or accessories, sorry, that we could use. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. This game has an absolute ton going for it, and we're about to just start exploring. This is going to be absolutely cool. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. And like I said earlier, if you're interested in joining the Patreon, the link of that will be in the description as well. You can help me decide how our brave guards actually expand their leveling tree and which paths they're going to be able to go down and what new abilities and chips they're going to be adding to their bag. Those that have already joined the Patreon are located here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It means the world to me. Going forward, I'm excited to see where this story takes us and if we're going to be able to keep on going down the track we are. We had some pretty easy battles getting to here, but I think it's going to start getting a lot tougher because now we're going to be going into Chapter 2's group of enemies, not the Chapter 1's that only have 7 health and 1 defense and 1 armor, which just fall to the wayside so fast to Gregory's huge giant sword. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you're excited to see what comes next, then I need you to meet me at the table.